In 1989, these two boys disappeared near Sydney. Then a man reported a strange odor under a bridge. It's a summer's day in the Australian village of Pheasant's Nest, and two teenage boys set off on an adventure. But by nightfall, they haven't returned. For weeks, the fate of Jaymie Egner and Matthew Kelly remain a mystery, until a man notices a strong smell coming from under a nearby bridge. Back in December 1989, Jaymie and Matthew were just two ordinary 14-year-olds hanging out and attending classes at high school in Picton, a small town located some 50 miles southwest of Sydney in New South Wales. Jaymie was from the nearby community of Tamworth, while Matthew lived just down the road in the town of Bargo. On December 18, 1989, both boys had lunch at a property belonging to Jaymie's family in Pheasant's Nest, another small community in the area. And afterwards, they announced that they'd be headed to Potholes, a local swimming spot. According to Jaymie's mother, Marilyn, they'd planned to meet up with a friend en route. However, Jaymie and Matthew never came home. By the next day, police had begun looking for the missing boys, and when they failed to turn up any leads, a small-scale operation was launched. With the help of the State Emergency Service, local firefighters, and the New South Wales Police Force Air Wing, the authorities began to comb the region looking for clues. Sadly, though, their efforts brought them no closer to finding out what had happened to Jaymie and Matthew. It was as if the two boys had simply disappeared into thin air. And for 2 weeks, both families were left to wonder about what might have become of their beloved sons. Each night, Jaymie's father, Anthony Egner, went out searching for the missing boy, only to return home empty-handed. Then on January 3, 1990, an officer with the Roads and Traffic Authority was visiting Pheasant's Nest Bridge, a structure located a little over a mile away from the Egner's property. Some 250 feet tall, the bridge spans the Nepean River, allowing the Hume Highway to carry on its 520-mile journey through southeast Australia. That day, the worker was walking along an area of the bridge beneath the road when he noticed a strange smell. But upon taking a closer look, he made a stomach-churning discovery. Inside one of the 4 pylons that supports the bridge was a deep, open shaft, and at the bottom, he could see what looked like 2 bodies. That night, rescue workers gathered at the scene and began the long process of hauling the grim discoveries out of the 130-foot shaft. Hours later, they finally retrieved 2 bodies from the murky depths. Although formal identification took some time due to the advanced stage of decomposition, the corpses were eventually confirmed as those of the missing boys. For Jaymie's father, who had always hoped that the pair had simply run away, the development came as a shock. "We didn't expect to hear this," he told the Sydney Morning Herald in 1990. "Jaymie's brother doesn't understand it yet. Jaymie's grandfather's in the hospital, and he's very upset now." As Jaymie and Matthew's families grieved, investigators tried to piece together a picture of what had happened on that fateful day. Apparently, when the bodies had been discovered, the worker had noticed that the hatch that usually covers the shaft was nowhere to be seen. So, had the boys simply stumbled and fallen to their deaths, a case of urban exploration gone wrong? It certainly didn't seem to be unheard of for local youngsters to explore bridges such as Pheasant's Nest. "Everybody knows about it," explained the boy's friend Philip Hendricks in an interview with the Sydney Morning Herald. Furthermore, investigators noted that Jaymie and Matthew could have gained access to the bridge's interior through an opening nearby. Once inside, they might have set out to explore a walkway that runs for 1,000 feet along the entire bridge. In fact, investigators found evidence that someone had made a makeshift torch in order to illuminate a path to the main electrical switch. But how could 2 teenagers have accidentally slipped down a hole that was little more than 3 feet wide, especially when the lights were on? And that wasn't the only odd thing about Jaymie and Matthew's deaths. According to some reports, Jaymie's shirt had been removed and left folded at the entrance to the hatch. Even stranger, a 10-piece of plastic conduit was reportedly discovered nestling on the boys' corpses. Apparently, someone would have needed to fold it in order for the object to pass through the opening. Furthermore, the Sydney Morning Herald reported that strange marks similar to fingernail scratches had been discovered at the scene. Had Jaymie and Matthew's deaths really been an accident then? Although homicide detective Jeff Hollis made a statement claiming that the incident was not being treated as suspicious, some disagreed. In fact, the worker who found the bodies spoke to the press about his doubts. "I believe that a third person may have been with them," he told the Sydney Morning Herald. "I just find it all a bit suspicious." Moreover, he pointed out that nobody had been able to locate the shaft's hatch, which allegedly required 4 men to move. Intriguingly, even other police investigators seemed to disagree with the official version of events. "I just can't understand how they fell down together," said Picton Sergeant Jim Reynolds. With so many puzzling aspects to the case, some residents began to suspect that something sinister had happened to Jaymie and Matthew while they were innocently exploring the bridge. Had they stumbled across a drug deal and been murdered to ensure their silence? Moreover, Jaymie and Matthew were not the first teens to lose their lives in peculiar circumstances in the area. In fact, less than 2 years previously, Aaron Murphy and Glenn Vantagiato had been run over and killed near Tamor while lying on the Hume Highway, the same road that crosses the Pheasant's Nest Bridge. However, some locals have questioned why the teenagers who were not drunk would have chosen to lie down on the road. So, were Jaymie and Matthew the victims of an accident, foul play, or something even stranger? The truth may never be known. Check out these other videos from Let Me Know. If you haven't made the move to subscribe to our channel, all you need to do is click on that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching.